In this video, we're going to look at how to define a site in Dreamweaver. This is something you only have to do once when you're working on your own machine, and your files won't disappear when you power down. But if you're working in the lab, things are a little bit different. Each time you want to work on a site, you have to redefine it, even if you've done it before. And although you can do what I'm about to do in Dreamweaver, it's a lot easier to begin with a folder that you move to your web server via Fetch or some other FTP program. So as you can see over here, I've got a folder that I've created, and it's called My Site. And this is the folder into which all my assets for this particular site are going to be stored. My media files, my HTML files, whatever. They're all going to be in there. And before I can define the site in Dreamweaver, it's a very, very good idea to make sure that the folder that I'm going to be using is on my web server. So I've launched Fetch, and I've gone to my www folder, and I'm just simply going to drag my site there. And you'll recall that all that happens is that a copy of my site is transferred up to the server. And I'm now ready to begin to work in Dreamweaver, so I'm going to put Fetch away. And instead, I'm going to launch Dreamweaver. And you can see right now, I don't have any sites showing. And I want to tell Dreamweaver, because it thinks in terms of sites, where to find the folder that it should use to keep track of everything that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to go to the Site, New Site menu. And in the dialog that appears, I'm going to enter, first of all, the site name. Now, you recall we've done this before. This is just a name between you and Dreamweaver. That is, it doesn't really make any difference as long as you and Dreamweaver have a sense that you're talking about the same thing. And in the local site folder, I'm going to click the icon that you can see. And I'm going to go out to my desktop where I happen to have this particular folder, and I'm going to select my site. Click Choose. So now I've given Dreamweaver two important pieces of information. The name that both Dreamweaver and I will use to refer to this site, and where it is physically on my hard drive. I have to do one more thing. I have to tell it where to store it on my server. So I'm going to click on the server item in the category list, and I'm going to click the plus sign. And in this new box that pops up, I can put in some basic information. So for example, the server that I'm using is called unix.uvic.ca. And it's going to connect via SFTP. And its address is the same as the name that I gave it, uvic.ca. And I'll just skip the port. That's the default port, and that works fine. And I'll give it the username that I have for this site, for this account, excuse me, and I'm going to enter in my password. Now the next thing that I want to do is under root directory. Remember that I placed it inside my www folder. So I'm going to tell that to Dreamweaver. However, I want to store my files not merely within the www folder, but within the My Site folder that's inside. And Dreamweaver has a very useful device at this moment, and that's simply to test to see if I've entered the information correctly. So I'll click Test, and Dreamweaver comes back and says that it was able to successfully connect to my server. Had I gotten an error message, one of these fields would have been incorrectly entered, so I'd have to go back and fix it. So now I click Save, and I've got all the basic information that Dreamweaver needs to transfer files later on. And as you can see, there's nothing in my site folder at the moment, but it's right there, and I'm ready now to begin work.